Artemis 2 has just started its voyage towards the moon, obviously around the world first, then around the moon, and is going to be the furthest human-ridden object from the Earth and the first vehicle to visit and land on the dark side of the moon. This is crazy. Hello, welcome to day 36 of talking to a camera every single day for 5 minutes. And wow, as someone who likes space, who's a bit of a space nerd, maths nerd, stuff like that, this is a really cool day for humanity. This is a really cool thing. Also, because the space program's been stopped for quite a long time, since I believe it was Obama who shut it down because of the high costs of the program. It is really amazing for this to be restarted, for the research to be continuing, all of these things. I think it is amazing that we are taking these next few steps towards discovery, towards the outer worlds, and building life on the moon, which will be an amazing thing for humanity. Because if we can build life on the moon, it means we can also build life on further planets like Mars. We can start to work on building life in other solar systems. We can advance. This is what might seem like a small step for humanity. It is a major step for humankind. Just see what I did there? Little Armstrong joke. Anyway, I think this is a really cool thing for humanity, as it will take us towards our next level and possibly towards starting to understand more about our universe than we currently do by the means of space travel. I don't know if any of you have seen the new film Project Hail Mary that came out a few weeks ago. I watched part of it. It was a good film. I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it at some point because I had reasons why I couldn't watch it. But this whole sort of hype that's coming around space is such a really cool thing, because space is one of the most interesting topics of the entire scientific and mathematical field. So having all of these hype and lots of people wanting to know about it, especially children, the younger generation, having them want to know more about space is so positive, because when people are sort of thinking about these like real topics like space, they're spending less time watching AI slop or like, what is it, the Fruit Love Island? I don't watch it, I wouldn't know. But having a movement towards these sort of really interesting themes like space, the exploration of space, and what this means for humanity is going to do so well for our future generations and for the future existence of humanity, because the more people want to know about space, the more they're going to discover, and the further we will find out about space. That is really, really interesting to me. And I just really hope that people sort of build on their curiosity of space and actually learn about it. I was always, when I was younger, I was always really curious about space and the stars. I have a telescope and I would go and look at the stars with my dad, and it was one of my favourite memories from being a child. And I think that people, if they really started to explore their sort of interest and curiosity with the greater universe, it would really help humanity as a whole to have a sort of bigger picture view on things, especially when on our own planet we have big issues like war, death, illnesses, disease, all of these really crushing issues. Sometimes to be able to look at the greater universe and think, in the grand scheme of things, maybe it's not so bad, is a really powerful tool to have in our arsenal. And I think it's something everyone should start to think about. I mean, it can be quite scary to think about the size of the universe, the size of planets, systems, stars, and everything else around us, and how truly small we are. But I think it sort of helps put things into perspective, and maybe things don't matter as much as we thought they do. You know, maybe handing in your homework late isn't that big of an issue. Maybe letting your tongue slip and being rude to that person isn't as big of an issue. Anyway, goodbye.